Have it to look.
So world number one, Rafael Nadal, set for his fourth round encounter against a gentleman he knows pretty well. And I think there's a fair amount of, I don't want to say angst between these two, but there's a little bit of a niggle there because of some past differences they've had. They had a very heated encounter where they played in Rome, and Nadal handled him comfortably, 6-1, 6-love, but it was the match at Wimbledon in 2007 where things really got a little intense between these two.
Au service, Robin Soderling.
Well, Soderling is not the most liked guy in the locker room anyway, and Nadal gets along with everybody. And they had some words during the match at Wimbledon when Soderling was actually mocking Nadal, tugging at his jockstrap, pretending. Not nice. So we'll see if this affects Nadal. He's the kind of guy that, you know, I would think he likes to get along with his opponent. You know, he and Roger have such a great relationship, so much respect and admiration for each other. That I think that's why they play such great tennis against one another. There's any bad blood. Certainly Nadal's handled it well because he's won all three matches. That one on the grass, 7-5 in the fifth.
30.
The other two on clay easily for Nadal, as would be expected.
Yeah, and this is what Soderling brings to the table. 6 feet 3 inches tall. He's got a tremendous serve and heavy, flat ground strokes.
It's a big game, a big guy. Much better results on indoors or faster surfaces, even though he grew up on clay.
Quarante-quinze.
He doesn't really have the clay court resume to think that he could make a real impression here today.
But that serve pays off on any surface.
Yeah, exactly. You bring his big tennis to really any surface and he can make an impression. We'll see if he can do it today. Seeded 23. Nadal, obviously, the world's best. Number one. Nadal, 22 years of age. He'll turn 23 on June 3rd. So, the world number one and top seed for the first time in Roland Garros. And in the hunt to become the first player in French Open history to win the title on 5 consecutive occasions. You can see him going through his little ritual with the water bottles. It's,
he's picking up some more now. He's starting to kick the baseline free of clay. Wonder if he's going to be doing it on the grass as well. But he's very twitchy, high energy. And he's very superstitious of exactly where his water bottles are. He takes a drink out of each one. Got 2 identical bottles.
I think one is a different temperature than the other. Such a powerful mover on this surface, and able to see these angles from the outside of the ball back cross court.
Soderling early on, certainly not awed by the occasion here, playing Nadal on clay in his house. It's a big, flat, heavy hitting from Soderling, neutralizing the Nadal topspin.
service.
And Rafa just rolling the ball in 170. That's about, what, 106 miles an hour. Whereas Soderling's hitting about 126 miles an hour. That's a big difference. MPH early on here in the match.
35.
Again, Rafa beat Soderling handily in Rome 3 weeks ago, 6 love, 6-1. Like to have another one of those today. Already Soderling's equaled his best best effort.
He's got a game on the board.
He's got a game on the board already.
It's a little better serve from Nadal. Great placement. Curled it in from left to right.
Yeah, in the years past, he's been content just to slice it out wide every single time, but now players are onto it, so now he's going with that T-serve more often. He's got that T-serve every time against Federer when he needed it in Australia. He's improved his game so much. He's added so many dimensions to it. He used to just play defense now. He can be so offensive, come to the net. He's got all the shots.
Well, 160 weeks at number 2 in the world, that'll give you some motivation to improve and drive you harder.
Well, he had to get better. He wasn't going to get to number 1 by staying the same.
Yeah, August 18th, 2008, that was the day. Nadal finally taking over the top spot from Roger Federer.
Nadal so far back, but he guessed right. He went to his left as Soderling is serving, so it enabled him to hit a really good hit on the ball. Stretched him wide, drew the error. Let's see, 203 Ks. It's like 127 miles an hour.
A couple of soft errors from Nadal. Soderling able to get back to 30 all.
And going backwards, he just has to generate so much racket head speed to get anything on the ball. Working against himself, and that's a weak return right there. The ball just would have been a sitting duck anyway, too short. Soderling says, thank you very much, I'll take it. Serving against the wind and against the sun.
That's where you feel Nadal can make some real inroads. Force Soderling to play some defense, make the big Swede move on a surface he doesn't like.
That's what we're used to seeing. Going forward more as he's hitting, whipping it around his ear. I'm surprised he doesn't hit himself with that racket sometimes. Oh, that return with a slice that far back off the court. Is inviting Soderling to come to the net here.
Soderling.
Because he's starting so far back, the wide serve is really effective, pulling Nadal way off the court, leaving the court wide open for the next shot. So smart serving from Soderling.
Yeah, nicely done. Soderling able to finish at the nets. Not known as a great volleyer. but getting it done on that occasion. 2-1 for the Swede here in the opening set. Of 31 victories at Roland Garros on the line. He's only dropped 7 sets in those 31 matches.
And never gone 5 sets here. Only gone twice on clay to 5 sets. That was in Rome 2 years ago and 3 years ago against Federer in Korea. Never been down 2-1 before in a 3 out of 5 set match. So a lot on the line for Nadal every time he steps on a clay court.
And the most impressive stat might be the 32 consecutive sets. Did you ever run like that, Everett, where you had consecutive sets at a slam? It's impressive.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what my record is on that one. They come up with all kinds of statistics these days.
Yeah.
So you could go back and figure it out. I have no idea. But I don't think I had such a long one, no, on any surface.
You can see the difference there. Soderling right up on top of the baseline. Nadal patrolling well behind it.
You're getting good depth, but again, it's easier to hit the ball deep when you're inside the baseline. So you see Guillermo Vilas there on the right watching, always wearing black. I wonder how he doesn't cook himself here.
Well, the sun's fairly bright, although it's not too hot.
It's not hot, but you overheat in black. I'm always surprised watching the players wear black dresses or black shirts, as Gonzalez did earlier today.
Yeah, Vilas, the champion here in '77. 3 times a runner-up. There are only a couple of other 3-time runner-ups. Roger Federer, another, and Jaroslav Drobny.
You see Francesco Riccibiti, president of the ITF, the International Tennis Federation, which oversees all the Grand Slam events. I don't agree with everything they do, but overall, good job. I would pick a fight with them or 2, but I won't go into that here. Trouble in that point, but Soderling came in on a bad shot. It was the right shot, of course. Opens up the court with his down the line here. But this one way too short.
Is he also a bit scared of that forehand to go inside out? He looked like he pulled it to the backhand to stay away from the forehand. Turned out to be a disaster.
But Soderling dictating play here early on. Nadal hanging way behind the baseline. And Soderling taking advantage of his flat, hard ground strokes. Pass was a little deeper. And Soderling closer to the net here on this one.
40.
Well, by Nadal standards, that was a terrible pass.
That was a terrible pass. He missed that one. He totally mistimed it. He was trying to roll it cross court and hit it too high. Break point.
Yeah, nice little chance for Soderling. the baseline.
The ball skidded off the baseline and drew the error just long on Nadal, so Soderling goes up early break.
Soderling mène 3-1.
That's a surprising scoreline, especially after that performance 3 weeks ago in Rome. Let's see how flat he hits it. Ball gets there fast. Ball just long.
Yeah, their matchup in Rome was in the evening. It was fairly cool. Conditions very slow. It's a little bit drier today.
Which would help Soderling with his big game, big serve particularly.
Premier
The
service.
flat ball flying through the air quicker, not giving Nadal as much time to run around and hit his forehand.
And I think for that match in Rome, Nadal was still feeding a little bit on their bad blood from Wimbledon. You said about Soderling, you know, I've said hello to him 6 or 7 times, and he never says hello to me. He never answers.
I don't think he talks to too many guys in the locker room, but that's just rude.
You know, and he said, well, I thought it was me, but then I asked around the locker room, and then almost nobody had anything nice to say about him. So this is Nadal's experience with the Swede.
It's funny, you tend to take it personally, you know, and I never knew if people were rude or shy if they didn't say hello to me. So I would ask around and find out if the person was nice or not, and then I would make an effort, bring him out a little bit. Some of them were just rude, so you just forget that one. But Soderling pushing Nadal further back behind the baseline, and he's standing on the baseline or inside it. It's much easier to find the angles from there. Look where Nadal is going backwards as he's using that backhand. Soderling, good depth. Rafa's not looking too happy there. Neither are the Spanish supporters. They're not too happy either.
Oh, yes.
And because Soderling is on the baseline when he's hitting the ground strokes, when he does get the short ball, he's ready to go forward, move up to the ball real quick and whipped around that one. It's not an easy shot. That was not an easy shot at all with that grip. Moving forward, the ball's that low over the net. He made it. That's a big serve. That's about 135.
Soderling.
Well, something of a surprise out of the blocks here in this 4th round match. Robin Soderling, 4-1 up on Nadal.
4-1.
Edition of French Open tonight presented by Lacoste. And now let's get you back to more of the round of 16 match between 4-time defending champion Rafael Nadal and Robin Soderling of Sweden.
He hasn't been behind in the scoreline too often in this event or on this court.
Consider Soderling already has won as many games as Roger did here in the finals, all in 3 sets. Nadal completely dominated Roger Federer here last year. But Soderling is imposing himself on Nadal. Nadal looks a bit out of sorts to me. It's not, doesn't look calm. On the changeover, which you guys don't see, he just looks a bit distracted, unnerved. And that's a really bad shot there from Rafa for no particularly good reason. Totally mishit the ball. This is badly wide. Wind is pretty swirly out there. Early afternoon. Good return again, pushing Rafa going backwards. He's hitting off his back foot too much here, early going. A little too passive for my comfort, and that ball just too short. Looking where the ball bounced. There have been some weird bounces. I mean, Roger
Yeah.
Federer whiffed a ground stroke completely yesterday and then almost whiffed another one like 2 games later. I've never seen him do that.
I know it's early, but it just seems as if Soderling's a little more comfortable with the surface and the conditions, the wind. Maybe he's hitting through the breezes a little bit better.
Well, he hits a flat ball, so I would think it would bother Soderling more because Nadal hits so much topspin, the ball's moving already so much, and with the wind added to that, he should be bothered. But he seems very comfortable handling all that topspin that's coming at him. Nadal looking for the forehand and finding it, running around. That's the shot that gives Roger Federer such a fit because it comes high to his backhand. So Nadal's best shot, his forehand cross court, goes to the weakest link in Roger Federer's armor, which is his high backhand. But here Soderling with a two-handed backhand doesn't seem to bother him as much.
Nadal.
So Nadal takes care of his serve.
Soderling men.
Soderling is a couple inches taller than Federer as well. Nadal also the same height approximately as Federer. You feel that the guys are getting taller at the top of the game. Murray's 6'3", Djokovic is 6'3". And the prototypical tennis player seems to be getting taller and taller these days.
Well, as high as the ball is bouncing, you have to be. You just cannot handle the ball. You have to go so far back behind the baseline until the ball comes down to your level where you can hit it, that it's almost impossible to be successful unless you're over 6 foot nowadays. And that goes for the women as well. Oh, that one flew on him.
0-15.
Against the wind. I'd say he mishit that one, or mistimed it completely.
Yeah, every time he gets ahead in the score, he makes a very loose error.
And Soderling stands about a foot behind the baseline on the serve because he takes a small step forward, so not to foot fault. He really plays it safe, and he's making his life more difficult than he needs to. He's way behind the baseline when he's serving. Again, when Nadal's returning from so far back behind the court, that wide serve, that's going to be money for Soderling. He can go there all day long. Doesn't even have to hit it that hard. In fact, the softer the better. Pulls Nadal way off the court. Ball was in. Bad call, so it's another first serve. No harm done.
Premier service.
Well, he hit a ball on the sideline early in the rally. This one just out. Oh, they're whistling.
30.
Because they don't trust the umpire. early support for Soderling in this match.
Pascal Morin, the man who umpired the Wimbledon final.
Wide serve. Rafa needs to either take it early or stand in earlier or closer to the baseline, because that ball is going to be there all match long. And even somebody as speedy as Rafa can't do much with this one. Barely gets to it. An easy put away from Soderling. So, obvious game plan here from Soderling. Pull Rafa wide and go to the open court. Come to the net if you can.
A little loose on the forehand again.
40. Avantage, Soderling.
Way over the top of that one, and I'm going to have really had a chance.
Well, normally Rafa hits the ball so high over the net, there is so much clearance that the net doesn't come into play at all. That ball landing well under the tape. Really mistimed that one.
Yeah, that's an awesome forehand right at the top of the bounce. And Soderling started off this match at the very top of his game. 5-2, he's a game away from taking the opening.
To Paris, the special edition of French Open tonight, presented by Lacoste. And now let's get you back for more of the opening set, the match between Rafael Nadal and Robin Soderling of Sweden.
So Robin Soderling looking good, 5-2 up. Nadal's going to serve to stay alive. Looking at the serve speeds for these two, and Soderling is much faster than Nadal.
Yeah, his average serve speed is 14 miles an hour faster than Nadal. It's like 10% faster. That's a lot. It's a big difference. And Nadal looking for the forehand, and even though he's going backwards, he's able to rip this, whip it around his ear again and rip it for a winner. So strong, that arm, my goodness. And that's a serve that Nadal added to his repertoire the last couple of years. He always would slice it wide. He's got the hard one up the tee. And Soderling, that down the line return is paying off for him early, because Nadal is looking for that forehand. See, Nadal bounces to his left, so then this average return down the line pays off. Maybe he didn't mean it to hit it that way. That's all he could do. Nadal can't track it down. So I put that in my memory book if I was Soderling, and use that return more. And now Soderling taking the page out of Nadal's playbook.
40-30.
Running around to his left to hit the forehand, left the court open. But Nadal missed it. Still a game point for 3-5 down.
That box went shopping for hats at the same store.
It's a hat day. They'll all have hat hair.
Another chance to get to 3-5.
First double fall for Rafa. Doesn't serve too many of them in his career. Got a very safe second serve, either kick or slice. Just aimed that ball too low. Still hasn't found his range.
Way wide, and Nadal just struggling to find the range. This break point's a set point too for Soderling.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem to be just happy out there. He's a little tentative, not moving his feet as well as he normally does. He's way behind the baseline, but when he does that, you have to be quick off the mark to cut off the angle and be able to go forward as he's hitting. When he's behind the baseline and still hitting, moving sideways as he's hitting. So too much defense from Nadal, but great offense from Soderling.
Yeah, that's worthy of a wow. Another backhand error. Fairly routine. So Soderling breaks the consecutive sets-one streak by Rafael Nadal. The world number one's in some trouble here in the